The Art of Jenny Holzer. Who is Jenny Holzer? Well, she's an American artist born in 1950 who's based in Hoosick, New York. I chose her as the artist for my presentation because I really enjoyed her LED works and they caught my eye, so I thought it would be very interesting to take a deeper look. The first thing we're going to look at is exhibitions. The first one I have is the artist rooms, and the picture I chose for this one is 6 columns of LED displays reading "This is not feeding time," among other messages. This picture specifically of the artist rooms exhibition stood out to me because of its color combination. I think the blue and the purple work really well together, and it's very eye-catching, but not in a jarring way. And because of the personal interpretation that I get from this piece, being something along the lines of an artist's time commitments and feeling this repetitive message of telling yourself as an artist that you can or can't do things or you have to have specific time set for everything. And this caged animal feeling that this picture has with the way that the people are standing in front of it, which gives it almost a barred off feeling. This next one is Thing Indescribable, and this picture stood out to me a lot because of its lighting and color choice. The purple is a very light color for the message I feel like it's trying to convey, and the entire rest of the picture is fairly dark. There's no other lights in this room on, except for this one singular sign, which reads, "To eat and sleep her body is only the eyes." And I'm assuming more words came up on the screen, but that's all I could read in this picture. Other things in this picture surrounding the sign, the little things around the bottoms are human pelvic bones, and I think this creates a very gloomy and attention-grabbing atmosphere, and it has a very crowded feeling because everything is so squished together. I feel like it could have a possible sexual assault awareness message, that combined with the other piece, which was also in the same room, that was another pile of human bones. And to me, the lighting choices and the crowd surrounding the sign make it feel like there's some sort of power balance or control going on here. The next thing that I'm going to look at is LEDs, specific LED displays instead of entire exhibitions. And this first one is one from the fall 2012 collection. It's 5 crossing LED displays reading a word that is cut off that I could not find, cut sections into these wounds, and 8 XXXXX 9th of November. This one stood out to me again because of the color combination, but in the opposite way that the artist room stood out to me. It's very eye-catching, the way that the crossed LEDs are placed on the red background with the bright blue text is very eye-grabbing, and it feels almost like there's some sense of danger. I feel like maybe the message of this one could be something about the healing process of trauma, or at least that's what I got from it, because it has a very sectional feeling to it, and the words cutting through that dark and red colored aggressive background. This one is a statement redacted piece. It was a huge LED pillar style display of streaks of color, and there were a couple other displays like this one. But this one stood out to me because it was so different from all of the previous installments, which had words on them and had some sort of lighting around them, whereas this one is just soft streaks of light around this pillar. And it is in your face like the other ones were, but it's because it's larger. But the actual display is a lot softer and easier to look at, and a little confusing based on what you try to gain from it. If it could be like the words that were being swept away, or it could have some sort of memory loss themes in it, or it could just be that there's beauty in simplicity and there doesn't always need to be a message thrown in your face, and something very simple and light can also be very meaningful. This one is a monument piece which was another pillar style LED display. Um, and this one stood out to me because of similar color choices as the Fall 2012 collection, where they are very vibrant and in red and pink hues, which complement each other very well, but are also very attention grabbing and they seem aggressive. Um, it's also a pillar style, which was another one that caught my eye because I think the pillars are unique to the other barred ones. And this one seems to have a bit more of an obvious message as some sort of media call out with the words that were displayed on this one, reading, "Do we have PC for murder?" and "Cause of death, shotgun wound of the head." And it also caught my eye because it was similar to her pieces in It Is Guns, which is a separate section that we're going to look at. This one is an installment that she made in Chicago. It was a van parked across from the Trump Tower in Chicago with LED lights reading "Struggle More." It stood out to me because Chicago is where I'm from, so it had a much more personal message to it, and it has a much larger presence. Instead of being an LED display in a museum or an art exhibition, this is out on the street in front of. This is a very popular and a very busy street, so it is not something that someone would be able to miss. And the personal interpretation, or what I got from this, is a very obvious message to me of a power struggle or a fight to be heard, especially when it comes to gun violence. That is all of the examples I have for today, but I highly suggest if checking out the rest of Jenny Holzer's work on her website, which I linked right there, if you enjoyed it, because there were a lot of other pieces that caught my eye that I didn't have time to include.